Welcome back to Talk Drama to Me, where she want that D in 2 minutes or less. To continue our Lunar New Year special, we have a C drama expert in the house. Sue, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. C-drama expert, maybe sure 10 years ago, but not so much these days.
C drama expert. No, look, I call you my personal expert because we know each other personally. To back it up for our listeners, my sister-in-law Sue and we were going to H Mart. I don't know if you remember this, but we were going to H Mart, and I think I was the one where I was like, Sue, have you ever seen these? And you were like, have I ever seen them? Is that how you remember that interaction?
Yes, I was driving that day and it was with a Tesla, and because Tesla, it's linked to my phone, and I was watching that drama and that title popped out on the dashboard. And then you're like, what is this? Because I remember the title being very, very interesting.
Tried to find it again, but I couldn't. It was something like I accidentally drugged my wheelchair Uncle General. It's like, what?
Yeah, it was just something very wild. Yeah, quite frankly, I don't remember which drama it was it because I watched so many, but it was definitely a wild title one, if I remember correctly.
And that had me intrigued. I think that's all we talked about throughout the entire car ride. And I went back and said, okay, I really need to give C dramas a shot because there are things happening in that world that I need to understand. And so it brings me to my question. I guess tell us a little bit about C dramas and maybe why you think vertical C dramas are so popular.
So I guess a brief history of how I started watching Chinese dramas in general, or like even Taiwanese or Japanese dramas. Like that one hit Taiwanese drama. It started with a kiss. And Love Contract. These are the dramas that kind of propelled the Asian dramas industry, I would say, because it grew so popular that Japan they made their own version with Hana Yori Dango. So I just started watching drama back then, and then I kind of like evolved to K dramas, and then after that, C dramas started to become much more prevalent because with their quality, with the type of actor actresses, the various type of genre that the C dramas would portray. And then just recently, maybe a year ago or two, I was randomly browsing on my phone on YouTube, and then I stumbled upon this short C vertical, and it was a historical one, something to do with supernatural and stuff like that, and just caught my attention. And I was like, oh, such things exist. And so I went down the rabbit hole. And I think the main reason why C verticals are popular is because your typical Chinese dramas, like, your standard 32, 64 episodes, like those long standard dramas, they need to be censored to what the government portrays. And then I feel
Right.
that with C verticals, you get much more, um, what do you say? How do you say it? Like you get much more.
I think there's a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, exactly.
Like even the romance stuff, guys, it's not steamy. If you've watched Heated Rivalry, it's not steamy, but it's like you get like an extra kiss and like it's like a real kiss. That's all I want, you know?
Yes, they definitely get more flexible with the writing. And so like you get more kisses, you get more like intense, like, steamy scenes if you want. And then it's just like you don't have to cater to what the government stands. For example, like I believe last year or 2 years ago, there was like a short ban on dramas that says you can't do reincarnation stuff or something like that. And so like, but with
Right.
C dramas,
Ugh.
for some reason, they don't have to follow those rules and regulations. And in addition to that, I feel like people these days, they want convenience, and like short form content, right? Because your usual Chinese dramas, they're like 64 episodes. They're like 1 hour long each. But then with short verticals, you can get like everything from the beginning to end done within like 2 hours or less. And so people who, lives like in a fast-paced life, maybe they just want short, addictive, some type of form content. But yeah, I think that's my take. And also, we can't skip talking about the themes, right? Most of the short vertical dramas, like billionaire romances, revenge, like, quick, intense scenarios that just like you can't really capture that within your standard long Chinese drama. But But yeah, that's my take on it.
I guess I'm curious because I'm consuming them secondary. Like, really, you just tell me what to watch. I'm going to YouTube. What are some other resources you would recommend for people getting into sea verticals?
I would still stick with YouTube just because there's so many free content. People love to upload sea verticals onto YouTube. I mean, there's also paid platforms, but I don't think you need to resort to that. There's a lot of great content already on YouTube. So I would just defer anyone who want to take a stab at sea verticals, just hit on YouTube, even though translation aspect may not be as accurate.
I have some questions.
Yeah, sometimes it's very horrible. I guess 80, maybe 75% of the time it gets the accuracy, the accuracy of the translation is okay.
So I've also tried to get recommendations from like MDL, but some of these lists have thousands of titles in them. Like, how would you recommend navigating resources like that?
That is a
Or
great.
and MDL stands for My Drama List.
I don't know. What I typically do is like if I want new content to watch, I just go on YouTube and pick a C vertical drama and look at the suggestions that
So
pop
you
up.
just stay in YouTube.
Exactly. I just stay in YouTube. I
Yeah.
actually don't venture much out on MDL because I feel that's okay, not a waste of time, but like I feel it's not necessary. Like I can just go on YouTube, look at related suggestions and then click on them. Something, sticks with me, I watch. If not, then I just scroll past and look for something else. So,
Okay. Well, you
yeah.
picked today's vertical. I think I was like, is this interesting? You're like, yes, it is.
No, I didn't pick it. No, I didn't pick it. You showed it to me, and I was like, I have seen this before, and it's actually quite interesting. I was like, okay, then we can just talk about this one then.
Well,
Yeah.
then let's get into it. Guys, today's historical C vertical is Marry a Sycophant Courtier. Sue, I'll hand it to you. What is it in the native title?
It's called 嫁宁臣, and that's exactly what is this, to marry a weird official.
Yeah, Marry a Weird Official doesn't have the same ring to it, so it's called Marry a Sycophant Courtier. It is a
Yeah.
sea drama. It has the trope of transmigration, of where you're like put into a different body, and it's historical. So these are my favorite. I have watched now 2 other modern sea dramas, and they don't hit quite as hard. And I think it's because with historical, you really have to be transported into another world. And then the men with their long hair. What was their hair care routine back then? I don't know, but they always have long, luscious, flowy hair. It's really quite wonderful. Why do you like historical stuff?
That is a great question. I like watching historicals, maybe because I do like history. I like seeing not costume, outfits that ancient Chinese people wear because it spans 5,000 years and we have so many dynasties. And with historicals, it can be either from Tang, it can be from Qing, it can be from Han. And so it's just very interesting to see how the producer would portray those kind of environment, especially with their outfits, because I love fashion. And in addition to that, maybe just like the dynamics with the culture historically back then. It's very different from modern. It's just a nice way to escape. But yeah, that's my take.
I'm surprised your answer was not hair. So we're very different people. All right. In today's C drama, in today's historical C drama, the synopsis is a modern day producer. How do I say the name?
Lu Qingci. Yes, just you can just call her Qingci if that's easier.
青瓷
Yes, there you go. Good, very good.
See, drama expert, that's you. Transmigrates into the body of a weak and submissive woman in her own script, thus beginning the journey of fighting against court politics. She steals a love-binding worm that controls the prince, bringing their lives together. Can they find their happiness in these circumstances? So, today's main character, since you are the C-drama expert, do you mind just saying the names and giving us an overview?
Sure. So the female character, her name is, as you mentioned, Lu Qingci. She's portrayed by Sun Qianxin. I think I like her a lot.
I love her.
Yeah. Do you know Zhao Lushi? I feel like she gives similar vibes where she's just very spontaneous, she's very bright, bubbly, and then when she plays like these slapstick kind of comedy, she does it very well, like doesn't overdo it, and then you can just like, go along with, with her antics and stuff like that. So I love her.
Yeah, even when she was being bad, I was rooting for her, and
Yeah,
so I really found her to be a very lovable character.
exactly. I totally agree. And then we have our character, Prince Xiaoheng. He's a prince and in this role, and he's played by Zheng Feng. And I think he's okay. His face is a little bit scrawnier than I would typically expect from your
He's too skinny.
male lead. Yeah, he just like give me boxy type of vibe. But anyways, I think his acting is pretty good though. Would prefer other male leads, but he does well for his role.
I thought in general, there's some scenes we'll talk about, but in general, I actually thought their chemistry was really nice. Would you
Mhm.
agree? Because
Yes.
I have to like read the subtitles and then look back up and do this crazy dance, but you can just enjoy it in one go. So from my experience, I really like them together. It sounds like you did too, right?
Yeah, I did. I did.
Yeah.
These two actually vibe really well. And if you read the comments on the YouTube video, I think a lot of people feel that way. I mean, you feel that way too. They do definitely have that chemistry going on for sure.
So we don't have Tiffany today. I am going to take us through the full drama recap. We're going to go pretty fast here. So buckle in, guys, getting all the amazing hair tosses, poisonings, and slappings. Here we go. The drama opens with the eldest daughter of the Dingwan Marquesh mansion.
Dingyuan Marquee Mansion. Yeah,
Marquee
Dingyuan
mansion. There we go. Stuttering and trembling before her own sister, Lu Bailan.
Yeah, Lu Bailian. It's very funny. I just have to say Bailian in Mandarin translates to a white lotus. And this is a running gag. Like if you want to talk about a character who's typically the villainess who acts like, very, very weak and stuff like a green tea, basically. That's exactly what it means. So it's just a great foreshadowing.
Sorry, can you explain green tea? Because I saw that all throughout. I didn't understand it, so I totally ignored it.
So green tea exactly means what it means in Chinese means 绿茶. And it basically uses as a term to refer to a manipulative female character who on the surface appears very like pure, innocent, can't do wrong, but is actually secretly inside very, very cunning and calculating, just evil. I forgot where the green tea comes from, but maybe like a couple years ago, it just because it pops out in popularity. So when you want to call these kind of two-facing manipulative characters, especially female characters, I mean, you would not use this term on male characters, only female, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, you just call them like a green tea character. So if you ever see any references, green tea never means good stuff. So
Now we're gonna have our own lingo. If whenever we're gossiping, I'll be like, "Oh, she's so green tea," and you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. So she's stuttering and trembling before her own sister Lu Baiyan until she faints. When she wakes up, it is revealed that the eldest daughter's body is now inhibited by the modern-day producer Lu Qingci, who's transmigrated into the story she once produced. Her fate is now tied to the princes through the heartling goo. It's a mystical worm that links their lives and their pains together. Armed with a stolen jade pendant, originally the evil sister was gifted this by the prince 6 months ago for saving his life on the battlefield, but the modern-day producer lady, Jingxie, storms into the prince's bathhouse to save his life. When she hurts, he hurts. When she heals, he heals. Literally, her blood can heal him and his bone poison. Is that right? Does he have
yeah.
some sort of like bone poison? What is that?
So rewinding a little bit. So Lu Qingci, as you mentioned, she is a modern day producer. She has a writer who is actually writing this drama. And in the beginning, I don't know if you remember, but she was like ragging on the writer for like, why are you writing this crap of kind of story? And so that's the funny part because she gets herself, she gets, like transmigrated into this character, into this drama itself. And now with the heart link school this is a common okay, not a common trope, but it's definitely quite common in the fantasy C-drama world. You can use worms to connect two different beings together. There's a mother worm and a child worm. And so what happened is that the sister, the Lu Bailian, right? I think she managed to like ingest one into the prince, and now she wanted to ingest the mother worm into her own body so that she and the prince will be connected forever. With Lu Qingci, transmigrating into the story of she stole the worm from the sister and and then she put it into herself. But yeah, as you mentioned, by having sex, they're able to detoxify because it's just how it goes. It's just how the trope goes. We don't know exactly why it happens, but it just happens.
Sex heals, y'all. I've learned a lot from these
Yeah.
C-dramas. Now, back home, Jingsi is beaten for stealing the green tea sister's jade pendant. Her evil sister rushes to the prince with the jade pendant that she's stolen back, expecting a proposal. And instead, the prince dismisses her with silver and parades Jingsi with warmth that stuns everyone, because he's supposed to be this really cold guy, and all of a sudden he's being super lovey-dovey. And unseen, he slaps her wounded butt and feels her pain because of the worm, right?
Yeah. What Lu Qingci did, she actually did something what a typical green tea character would do. So she stole the pendant from her sister, right?
Right?
And then she went to the prince. Her intention was gonna use it as like a marriage engagement token. She told the prince that it is hers because I think if I remember correctly, the background is that the sister saved the prince before, right? And that's how the
Yeah,
prince,
6 months ago. Yeah.
yeah, he saw that pendant. So Lu Qingci set this playground of let of letting the prince think that she's the one who saved him, when in actuality it was the real green tea character, the sister who saved him.
It's a reverse green tea.
Exactly. So when she went home and then the sister found out and was like beating her butt and everything, and then the prince saw it, right? So he unintentionally got warped into this green tea story that the main character created, if that makes sense. So it's like a reverse green tea. So something just want to point out that is very interesting.
Yeah, we love an Uno reverse.
Yes.
Now, in his bedroom, the prince pushes down our heroine, Jingzi, down onto his bed, commands her to take off her pants, and then just applies medicine on her butt wound from the beating. At first, we saw them be intimate in the bathhouse, and it wasn't really sexy. Like, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't really sexy. But I was like, okay, it's probably because we're in the bathhouse. There's a lot going on. And then this happened again, and it wasn't as sexy as I thought it should be. I really found them to be more of a comical pair, right? So I'm not sure I believe that they're in love, like passionate love, but I still love the vertical regardless. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think at this stage they don't have any emotional attachment to each
Yeah.
other yet, and so the scenes where they have that sexy time, we couldn't like vibe with it much.
Yeah, maybe that's it. They are just early on in their love story, so don't have too high expectations. Got it.
Yep.
After much teasing, after the butt wound, whatever, and then teasing, the prince does give Jingsi the jade pendant and proposes marriage. She gets what she wanted, right?
Yep, that is correct.
On the wedding day, Jingsi is held down while the green tea evil sister dresses in her wedding clothes. Two strange men are sent in to ruin Jingsi's reputation, and it is rape, right?
Yes, that is correct. This is very common. It's like,
That's so intense.
yeah, they would do like go to the ends of like just to ruin the main character's reputation because, back then in Chinese society,
For sure. Yeah.
reputation is the number one thing. Like if there's any mention of you being with a male or something like that, you're ruined for life. So, yep.
Well, when evil sister swaps places on wedding day, the prince unmasks the fraud. The veil here, they couldn't find a proper veil. They found a towel to put on top of her. So he really couldn't see who it was. I thought that was hilarious. Like everything else was impeccable, and then it was like a red towel.
Yeah.
Now, this whole scheme leads to the evil sister's mother's suicide by sword. They were able to switch like Qingci with the evil stepmom. It's a switcheroo, but I don't really understand how they switched. All I know, it was a very sad ending, but there was a lot of physical comedy. And this is also part of the reason why I love this actress. Like the way she slapped him and then like molested his chest, the prince's chest to help her. All of that was really, really funny.
I feel definitely a lot happened within that short time frame, but switcheroos like on wedding days is actually quite common as well. Like for example, like I mean, typical what they would do is just they would just switch off the main female character, drug them or something like that, put them in the bed, and then task with two randos to defile them, and then yeah, it's just a very very intense and quick way of how they try to get things that they want.
I think in this scene, this is the first time that we saw the prince come in and the air machine is hitting him.
The hair blowing and everything, yes.
I don't know if he's done like tons of these verticals or historical verticals, but he actually looked like he knew how to use a sword. So that, like, I'm not into men with long hair, but come on, if you're like long flowy hair and a sword, I'm like, oh, is it Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII? I'm like, oh my God, hi.
Yeah. You do look hot.
Now, because of this very sad ending, the father plots revenge using Princess Ronghua's, the prince's overprotective aunt, who kidnaps and tortures Qingci with hot coals, with like water bowls. It's supposed to be like a really intense torture scene, but because of how fantastic the lead actress is, I actually had to laugh throughout the entire interaction. Do you
Yeah.
remember when she gets tortured?
Quite frankly, no, but this aunt is not just overprotective.
What? Yeah.
Did you get it?
So like, yeah. She wants to like have him physically.
Exactly. So I don't think is she really an aunt? But I just remember that her background was that she was sent to as like a marriage bride to like a different country. And then like do you know like historically like Chinese
I
like
don't know if
princesses?
she's like the blood aunt, but they do mention that she raised him like an aunt.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. But that aunt label definitely crosses that boundary. But anyways, yeah. So, but I think yeah, she was married far off to a different country, to
Right.
different yeah, and then she came back because the husband died or something like that. So now she's just back in town
And
at
now she
the
wants a hot
yeah.
fling. She wants a hot girl summer. Now, as she's getting tortured, every injury echoes to the prince, who clutches his butt mid-war meeting. Asians and butt humor, name a more iconic duo. Like it always makes me laugh, and I'm a whole adult and I still laugh when stuff like this happens. Before, so he's there, he's getting hurt because she's hurt, and then he rescues her again. I don't know how to say this, a wuxia hero? How do you say that word?
武侠武侠
Wuxia.
yeah 武侠
Wuxia
huh?
hero. So again, it's holy wind machine Batman. Like the lighting makes him look like an angel. And then he comes in and wields his stupid little sword. And again, I was like, hi, I love him.
yeah,
Let's get
it's
married.
so comedy.
Later that night, period cramps strike, and the prince panics, convinced she's dying. He's shocked that it's just menstruation. She teases him. The prince is embarrassed. We cut to the aunt princess's birthday party. It's a poison banquet trap, and I think this is very typical. Xingxie fakes an epileptic fit to save the prince, and he is able to then resist the bad aunt's like sexual advances, who actually reveals this is all the emperor's betrayal. Like he knew this was happening.
Yeah.
She or Qingxie uses acupuncture on herself to suppress his poison, and they're able to escape together.
Yep.
There's always a lot happening in Chinese banquet scenes. It's so hard for me to keep up with it. I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
what about acupuncture?
Yeah, exactly. Like with banquets and stuff like that, like you'll always need to expect something bad,
So crazy. Yeah.
nefarious will happen to the main character for sure.
Now, in private, the prince reveals the aunt did in fact poison him with the emperor's consent. He, the emperor, personally gave the ant the poison. As the poison's effects flare up, he kisses Qingci, hoping for her antidote. Guys, the antidote is sex. Sex heals. There we go. The next morning, she wakes up sore, joking that all the men in this drama seem too good in bed. It's really funny. I actually would recommend you just keep going for this scene because I think she's just a fantastic actress. The prince is feeling better, but how did Qingci know something would happen yesterday? She explains how she used acupuncture to save the prince. She questions his past with the aunt, who once forced herself on him.
When he was young, very young. Yeah.
So disgusting. She
It is.
died.
It would be very weird.
But he still refuses to kill her because she raised him.
Mm-hmm.
The prince wants to detoxify more, so he pulls her back into bed, and we pan away to a rocking canopy. And as they say, don't come a knockin' when the canopies are rockin'.
Yeah.
Qingci hatches a plan to ruin the ant. She lures her to a brothel where the prince greets her in drag. I was taken back. I thought I loved this man when he had long flowy hair and a sword. And turns out I just love him in every single form because he came out as the most beautiful girl we've seen in this vertical.
I think this ties back to what I was saying earlier at the beginning, is that his facial features in drag form, he fits very well. Like you wouldn't like expect a very masculine, like type of male character, right? To dress in drag and actually looks good in it, but he actually does. So
Is this the first time he's done kind of a gender switcheroo like drag?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, whoever told him to do this is amazing. I'm sure they were casting him, and somebody was like, "You know what? He would make a fantastic woman." Look at that jawline.
It's very sharp, man.
It was definitely the right call because I would believe it. I thought he looked fantastic in it. Get it, girl. Get it.
Yeah.
Qingci whips him in front of the horrified ant, who attacks with acid, only for the prince to block the acid. Qingci drags the ant out, sealing her downfall with like a literal fall. Everyone is concerned about the incest between like the aunt and the prince, but no one is concerned that the prince is dressed like a woman. Did you see their reactions? They're like, oh, not incest, but they weren't like, oh, look, he's in a dress.
It's okay. We have bigger issues here, okay? Who cares if a prince just like a woman?
You're so progressive. No. Later, the green tea evil sister, remember her? She makes a comeback. She storms in, trying to kill Qingci and the prince because they're both connected by the worm. On the emperor's orders, producer Qingci realizes the only way to save him is to break the goo bond. So she stabs herself, dying in his arms. This is very sad. I didn't realize that was the only way. Like, you can't just throw up the worm. Like, there's got to be another way. They can't have diarrhea. I mean, you have to die. Is that the only way in all of these?
I don't know. There's definitely some outliers, but once you have the worm inside you, typically
It's forever?
it just floats in your body. But I definitely have seen some other dramas where like, you can take some kind of medications, do some kind of surgical process to remove the worm, but in most cases, once it's inside you, it's inside you forever. So yeah.
Well, I still hate the evil sister because throughout this entire drama, she has just trusted men for no good reason. Yeah. I'm like, didn't you learn the first lesson when the prince gave you the pendant? I was like, oh, I'll definitely marry you. And then he was like, JK, I'm not going to marry you. And now the emperor was like, I'll marry you. I'll like give you all the riches of the world. No, he isn't. Get out of here.
Yeah, for sure.
She's so dumb. I hate dumb villains.
It's how green peas are. They're dumb too.
They're so dumb. Go to school. Get educated. All right. Now, Qingci, she wakes up back in the modern world, clutching the jade pendant until it glows, pulling her back into the historical world. The prince is now emperor, confesses he killed the last emperor and the green tea sister for her, like on Qingci's behalf. We love a hero. We love a man who goes the distance. They embrace, confess their love, and kiss. In the final scene, Qingci directs a short play, but unsatisfied, the emperor demonstrates her vision. The emperor falls into her arms, kicking up a leg, and then they kiss again. The end.
It's a very nice tie-in to like her original role as like a producer, right? So now in the historical or in, world that she's in with the emperor, now she still gets to play being a producer. But now instead of like your rando, like, actor, actresses, like, instead the emperor, his assistant, her assistant, they just get to play.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. I think about like if I was transmigrated, like what would I even do? But you're right. It's almost so perfect for her as a modern day producer just to take those skills and be a producer in that day and age. Okay, I'll be honest. I still don't believe in their romantic love.
Ugh,
I thought
yeah.
chemistry, and I think they should do more of these verticals together. But in this story, I don't know. I didn't believe their physical chemistry, you know?
Their physical chemistry. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I kind of like believed it because they did go through a lot together.
True.
Yeah, they did go through a lot.
He did almost get, assaulted.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he saved them, I think, multiple times, honestly. And it kind of made me think that their affection, for each other, did grew. And he also went, a lot of depth, right, for her, to save her from when she was getting spanked and or tortured and stuff like that. So I think, to some certain extent, they do have that kind of like building of the relationship, but if it's to the criteria or standard that we want to see, probably not. But I think it was getting there.
Yeah, maybe if there was like 5 more episodes.
Yeah,
But you did name something that I really liked out of this historical that I don't always like in historicals. I really felt like she had an active part in her story,
hmm
right? And she was able to save him and really help herself in a way that you don't always see. And so I really liked it. I think the actress played it so well. Like it was really believable. So I'm really glad that we agreed to do this one because I really liked her. Of the 2 actors, I really liked her more than him. I liked their vibe together, even though, sorry, maybe the sexy bits, maybe I needed 5 more scenes, sorry guys. But I really liked them together. And I like the scenery. There wasn't any part of the story where I thought, oh, it's just a green screen or something, right? Like I actually think they're
Yeah.
on set filming this. Is that the vibe you get?
Yes, exactly. Because in China, there's actually a lot of filming studios, and the use
Have you seen this set before?
I have. I have seen it in other dramas before, actually. Like, yeah. I feel green screen is becoming less or less unless it's for those fantasy where, like, you ride dragons and stuff like that. Okay, not dragons, but like phoenixes.
I'm sorry, did you dismiss riding a dragon, but riding a phoenix is more believable?
Yes, because in Chinese drama, you don't see them riding dragons. You will see them riding some kind of like mythical bird like the phoenix, but not dragons for sure. I feel
Okay.
like dragons would be more scope to Western, Western.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But I agree. There's not a lot of CGIs that happen, which makes it much more realistic and believable. There are definitely some C dramas out there or C verticals that they use some CG. Maybe not in C verticals. I don't think I see much CGIs that's happening in C verticals, but definitely in C dramas. But yeah, I just feel like the use of real filming studios, sceneries, and like locations actually makes it much more like real,
Yeah,
believable.
I would agree that from what I see just in the clips, because I don't watch all of them, I'll be honest. Like if I'm watching a C vertical, I'm watching like 5 clips and then I move on, right? Sorry to admit that, guys, but they are very long. And so I would say the use of CGI is particularly for fantasy stories where she's like a fairy or maybe there's some magical element. So they do that to emphasize the magical or the magic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like the use of real sets, particularly for these historical dramas. It just kind of helps you immerse yourself in the world, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
For
so
sure.
sorry, I've done a lot of talking. In our pass or play, would you go beyond the paywall? I would. I would recommend you to play this all the way through. It's a super cute drama from start to finish. But Sue, let me hand it to you. Pass or play, would you go beyond the paywall?
I would. like before when you asked me to join like the recording, I was like, which one would I pick, that has like a little bit of everything. And I feel like this C vertical definitely like fulfills that role, like with comedy, the romance, the slapstick scenes that we get, the plot twist. I feel like this vertical has everything that you would want to see in your initiation into C verticals. So I definitely would pay for it. It was not free for sure.
But it is free, so thank God.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's like the extra brownie point.
If you think about like people who want to get into verticals, like I have a bias. Like I do prefer the historic ones better than the modern ones because for me, the historical ones give you things you just can't get from the Western verticals because no Western
Mhm.
verticals can be like, what if we went to the Han Dynasty, right?
Yep.
Western verticals, if they go old school, I've seen a lot of like 1920s flapper era, or I'm sorry, 1930s
Mm,
flapper
like
era,
the
right?
Republican era. Yeah. That's what they would.
Sorry, for C dramas, yeah. But actually, I think the Republican era for C dramas is honestly a really interesting, fascinating era to watch too.
I
But
totally agree.
yeah, because those are things you just can't get on the Western verticals. And so if I'm going to watch a C vertical, it's going to be something historical. But what would you recommend? Like, do you recommend people try a modern historical? Like, where do you recommend people start?
I think it depends because maybe some people are not quite familiar with historicals, like, the long hairs on men, like, the
Wedding.
costumes and stuff.
That's the best part.
I mean, for us, yes, but I don't know. People can, test the waters first with the modern, and then pivot, or maybe just try. I mean, it doesn't hurt to try, right? Just take up a historical, and then see, like, if you can sync well with how society is back then, right, compared to our modern day contemporary world, and see how you like it. But I think it just depends on person to person, honestly, because I definitely know some people who doesn't really like historical, and there's some people who loves historical. I think just depends on personal taste and viewpoint.
Have you ever seen the Western verticals, like even in clips?
I have seen it in clips, and see, look, for me, it just doesn't vibe with me.
Why is that?
I don't
Because
know.
you
It's
speak
just,
English. Sorry, she does speak English,
no,
obviously, but
I mean, it's not the fact that they speak English. It's just if I want to like immerse myself into a different world, it's probably not Western. I don't know. Maybe I'm too Asian. Like I need to stick to my Asian, my Asian roots. So,
my
um,
gosh, why do you think that verticals are doing so well finding their audience, in the Western world?
that is a very interesting question, and I don't think I have an answer for that.
Yeah, I don't really either because there's been a lot of stuff that even in, the Hallyu wave, like Korean culture has tried in the Western
Hmm.
market and have not succeeded. And so I always find it curious when things do succeed because I don't know, it's just very interesting. I don't understand why this took off in a way that other Chinese, Korean exports just haven't been able to. Because it's
Yeah.
not like the quality is awesome, No one's like, oh my God, these have to win an Oscar.
Yeah. Maybe it's just much more like whimsical and fantastical, like you wouldn't get in Western. Because definitely in Western verticals, you wouldn't get fantasy, right? Do you? Have you seen any like fantasy related
So
or?
I mean, I think it's starting, but it's different. We talked about how I have seen a dragon Western vertical. It was about
Oh,
a knight, in a castle and whatever, right? And obviously, that's not something that happens in China.
yeah,
Another thing I've seen is werewolves. Werewolves are
of course.
big in
Werewolves,
Western.
vampires, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
But you
okay,
know what
that
I
one.
think it is? I think it's because, at least in the US, like book talk is really big, like romance book readers. And
Mm-hmm.
in romance books, you see a lot of werewolves and vampires. And so
Yeah,
obviously, I think they realize that and cater to that audience and their fantastical expectations. And I just haven't seen, like, I don't know, have you seen a Chinese vampire?
no,
I
uh-uh,
know.
I haven't. Yeah,
I think that's an interesting adaptation, but generally, you'll see a ton of C drama scripts just put into an AI machine and then spit out in a Western form. Transmigration is one that it's just a C-drama script.
So that's kind of cool. Maybe one of these days I'll venture back into like a Western vertical again, maybe, and then I'll let you know which one like I actually like finished watching and gave you my
Okay,
my,
what if I
my
did this?
viewpoint.
What if I found one that is like clearly a C-drama, right?
Okay.
And it's Western? I'll be like, so watch this, and then we can compare and contrast, like, you know, who did it better or whatever.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be a very interesting like viewpoint, to to analyze.
There are some stories that hit when they are C dramas or K dramas. So, like, it makes sense to me when in a C vertical, the billionaire has to marry for his family, right? But then when it's like an American CEO and he has to marry for his family, I'm like, what do you mean? that makes no sense. Like,
Exactly.
I've never met an American grandma who's like, you must marry for the bloodline. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And like marriage alliances and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like the two companies must join together. It's like, I get it when it's a K drama or a C drama, but then they say it in these Western verticals
You're
and it
like,
makes
what?
no sense
It
to me.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
What
sure,
do you
for
mean
sure.
Target and Walmart have to marry?
Yeah. Maybe it's the idea of bloodlines. Because oops, I'm sorry, my watch. But I think it's probably like I think that brings up a great point because I think in Asian culture, the idea of bloodlines, the idea of like, the sons, like, continuing the lineage of family is super important. And I think that's something that's not as emphasized in Western culture, right? Any thoughts on that?
Well, no, I totally agree with you. And so this is where it's just clearly a C vertical that they're making in LA now. And so I would love to find one and get your perspective. The other part is in Western verticals, or I'll just say American verticals because most of these are made in LA anyway. In American verticals, they're just much shorter. So where a C vertical could be over 2 hours, a American vertical is maybe over an hour.
Wow. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
very surprised when you told me, like when I showed you like a like an example C vertical. You're like, is it really true? Like this is like 2-3 hours. I was like, yeah.
Oh my God, but it's for the same reason I really can't do a C drama. So I'm sure there are some really good ones, but they are so freaking long.
Yeah,
I don't have this time. I can't do
yeah,
this.
I know. But some people actually like the length. It's very interesting. I used to like it. Like if it's a drama very good, I don't care how long it is. Just keep it going on forever,
For
okay?
like 2 years? Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, then with that, Sue, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, imparting your knowledge with us or with me and the audience. I am so glad that we went to H Mart. Everybody, if there's an H Mart near you, you should go. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's the best deal. I can't promise you that, but it will be the best experience you've had.
yeah.
They have everything you need.
They do.
I'm so glad that we went to H Mart and that CarPlay or whatever it is forced us and brought the conversation together. I am still going to try to find the original vertical that started this because the title was absolutely wild. Again, I think it was a wheelchair, it was an uncle, there was drugging involved. There was a lot happening in this
Yeah.
vertical. And that it really sparked this podcast. I'm so glad that not only can we talk about American verticals, but then where they originate from and really share that experience together because I am not a C-drama expert. Truly, I've watched more clips than I have actual verticals. So this has really pushed me out of my comfort zone. And thank you so much for explaining concepts. Like I said, someday we'll gossip and be like, she is so green tea coated.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Yeah. Can't wait for that. Yep, yep, yep.
So with that, guys, if you've enjoyed content like this, please let us know. We might do more C dramas or C verticals on the pod. For now, follow us on TikTok, Insta, YouTube, and Substack. We're posting the clips, the thirst traps, and the theories. Talk Drama to Me drops every Wednesday. Bye for now.
Thank you.